You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WXCO Daily News Roundup for Bull Falls Radio, 98.9 FM and 1230 AM in Wausau.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. Senator Tammy Baldwin held a virtual town hall meeting yesterday to answer questions from concerned constituents in central Wisconsin. Melissa Kay tells us more.
The meeting was moderated by Stevens Point Mayor Mike Wiese. The first question outlined how chaotic things seem in Washington, D.C., and asked how to help calm the uncertainty people are living with every day.
It does feel a lot like chaos here.
Senator Baldwin said announcements are coming so fast and furious that it's difficult for hardworking citizens to keep up.
I will tell you that some of the chaos that we're experiencing is very purposeful.
A top Trump advisor said their strategy in the first days and weeks was to flood the zone. Many of the things proposed have resulted in lawsuits, making it even harder to understand what's going on.
I think it's important to remember in all of this that we do have power. Everyone here has power, and your voice matters.
Baldwin said she's been spending time on the Senate floor reading letters from concerned constituents, and those voices and stories do make a difference.
Again, I'm here to fight for you, but I'm also here to fight with you.
She said through this chaotic and confusing time that we have real power and encouraged Wisconsinites to keep talking to their representatives. I'm Melissa Kay, Civic Media News.
And Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers is proposing a new office to oversee the Wisconsin Department of Corrections in his budget. $2 million of his proposed 2-year budget would be used to create an 11-person ombudsperson office. The office would be tasked with investigating complaints about the state's corrections facilities as well as instances of abuse, unfair acts, or violation of rights. Prison reform activists have repeatedly called for such an office, but some Republican lawmakers have pushed back on its potential structure. As a part of Governor Evers' 2025-27 biennial budget, he wants to increase fees for fish, game, and wildlife licenses for Wisconsin residents. Senate Bill 45 lays out the hunting, fishing, and trapping fees. A majority of the licenses and tags would increase by $10 to $20, including for small game, deer, fishing, and wild turkey. Some fees could increase by $40, including wolf harvesting, with a new fee of $88, and conservation patron has a new fee of $201. The last time license fees rose for residents was in 2005. However, in 2023, non-resident fees rose as a part of Governor Evers' 2024-25 budget. The DNR says that over the last 20 years, inflation has increased 59%, and costs of equipment and many items needed have jumped even more. And the Wisconsin DNR reminds ice anglers that the deadline to remove permanent ice shanties, or those that aren't removed daily, is coming fast. Lisa Hale has the details.
In our areas, the deadline to remove shanties from inland waters south of Highway 64 is March 2nd. Those on Michigan boundary waters need to be removed on or before March 15th, and on Lake Michigan, Green Bay, Lake Superior, and inland waters north of Highway 64, those should be removed by March 16th. No ice is 100% safe, and ice anglers should check with their local fishing clubs and bait shops for current ice conditions before removing their shanties.
And the Great Lakes have gone from their highest winter ice coverage to a massive melt. Overall, they've lost a good 15% of ice in just 5 days. Lake Michigan fell from 34% to just 16% today. The warm-up melted 20% of the ice in less than a week. Lake Superior outdid that, dropping from 40% to just 20%, meaning nearly 30% turned back to water. Strong winds today will make it difficult to drive. Power outages are also possible across the state, and some trees could be at risk. It's because the soil is so saturated from the recent snow melt that they can get uprooted and pushed over much easier. And the spring thaw has begun a bit early, and with the frost leaving the ground, heavier loads can't use our roads. The 5 days of warm temperatures have ended the frozen road declaration statewide. This went into effect at midnight, and road restrictions will continue as field staff continue to evaluate the conditions. They do this with frost tubes. These are liquid-filled and placed under the pavement. Class 2 roads include about 1,400 miles of state highways susceptible to damage from heavy trucks during the spring thaw. County highways, town roads, city and village streets may also be posted or limited to legal load limits. Decisions to place or lift weight restrictions on those roads are up to local governments. And another person involved in the methamphetamine and cocaine trafficking organization in Wausau has been sentenced. 44-year-old Tommy L. Haney of Wausau will spend 14 years in federal prison. The charges include conspiring to distribute 500 grams or more of both meth and cocaine. This multi-year investigation identified Haney as a local leader of the trafficking organization. 8 others have also been charged in connection with this case. 6 have been sentenced. The 2 remaining individuals have pled guilty and will be sentenced in the coming months. And Wausau police are warning residents of a new cryptocurrency email scam. Officers say the emails appear to confirm a PayPal crypto transaction, but in many cases, the person hasn't purchased any digital currencies. So the message tells you to call a toll-free number to cancel the transaction within 2 days. Officers say do not call that number and delete the messages immediately. Clicking the link could lead to malware being installed on your device, which would also put sensitive data at risk. Officers add that you can also verify the transaction by logging into your PayPal account. Eric Hovde's defamation lawsuit against a PAC at many Wisconsin television stations has come to an end. Lisa Hale has more.
Thursday, a judge threw out a lawsuit filed by Eric Hovde against several television stations, including some in Green Bay. Hovde, who ran for U.S. Senator against Tammy Baldwin last year, claimed that the ad placed by Wynn Senate PAC contained 2 defamatory statements. Judge Donald Zwiedmulder issued an 8-page ruling that basically said a reasonable person would not have considered the statements, while negative, to imply illegal activity. The judge also noted free speech rights protect highly political content.
And the Shawano County Board unanimously voted not to pass a wheel tax. The county said the $20 annual fee would have gone toward road and bridge maintenance. But people living in the city of Shawano already pay $40 per year for their municipal wheel tax, and this $20 fee would have been added to that. And earlier this month, we found out that over 500 Jo-Ann fabric stores nationwide would close. Now we're learning that all of them will close. The company declared bankruptcy last month. This week, after the company was sold at auction, the buyers announced plans to liquidate all stores in stock, including the store in Wausau. It's unclear how many people will be losing their jobs, and Jo-Ann has been in operation for over 80 years. But slow sales and staffing troubles forced it into bankruptcy twice in the past year. And a deer farm in Eau Claire County has reported a positive chronic wasting disease test in one of their animals. The Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade and Consumer Protection said the farm-raised deer that produced the positive test was located within 10 miles of Clark and Jackson counties, triggering baiting and feeding bans for all 3. Eau Claire and Jackson County already have baiting and feeding bans in place stemming from positive tests in wild deer. But Clark County will put a new ban into effect beginning on March 1st. I'm Brittany Merlot for WXCO.
The Bucks with a win at home. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Milwaukee Bucks with a 121-112 win over the Denver Nuggets. Giannis led with 28 points. Center Brook Lopez added 22.
It was big. That was a very big game for us, a great win. It took everyone, and always the crowd always picks us up.
Although the Nuggets, Nikola Jokic, scored 32 points, Bucks head coach Doc Rivers praised Lopez for keeping up with the Joker.
I thought Brook was fantastic. We matched his minutes exactly with Jokic, which we don't do a lot. The guy's, Jokic, he's really good. He's just really good. I mean, he made the shots he makes. They look like there's no way they can go in. And his passing is something to marvel. It just is.
College hoops, UWM with a win over Oakland at the Panther Arena, 71-66. Marquette is at Georgetown, 7 p.m. tomorrow night. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. The legendary Gene Hackman has passed away at the age of 95. If you haven't already heard, Hackman, his wife Betsy Arakawa, a classically trained pianist, and the couple's dog were found in their New Mexico home. Authorities say they had been dead for a while. Hackman was the star of films like The French Connection, The Poseidon Adventure, Mississippi Burning, The Conversation, and Hoosiers. The late great Hackman moved to Pasadena, California in 1952 after he got out of the Marines and met Dustin Hoffman at the Pasadena Playhouse, where both were voted least likely to succeed. Seems like a pretty cruel award to give to another adult. Despite not having leading man looks, Hackman says he never cared about that and just wanted to act in any capacity. Hackman retired from acting in 2004 and moved to New Mexico, where he became involved in the arts community and wrote books. Gene Hackman is quite often referred to as the greatest American actor. He won Oscars for his role in The French Connection and Unforgiven. Gene Hackman was 95. If you weren't already aware, there will be a Shrek 5, and it will have a fresh-faced new star in the cast, according to Deadline.com. Zendaya will join the cast as Shrek's daughter. If you're scoring at home, that means she will play the offspring of Mike Myers and Cameron Diaz. Eddie Murphy will also be back as Donkey. Shrek 5 will be the first film in the franchise to hit theaters since 2010's Shrek Forever. The fifth installment is expected to grace our screens Christmas of 2026. The death of Gene Hackman will most likely be talked about for weeks to come in the entertainment business. Hackman and his wife Betsy were found dead in their New Mexico home Wednesday. Hackman quietly retired from acting in 2004 after appearing in the film Welcome to Mooseport. In a 2009 interview with Empire magazine regarding his retirement, Hackman revealed that the straw that broke the camel's back was his doctor telling him his heart could no longer handle excessive stress. You might think that the guy that owns the local haberdashery is just a small businessman, but when it comes to Hollywood, chances are he's a trained assassin. Whether it's a regular housewife, an accountant, or even a beekeeper, yes, a beekeeper, Miramax has announced there will be a sequel to The First Beekeeper, which starred Jason Statham. Statham plays a keeper of bees who also knows how to kill people very well. And if you saw the first film, appears to be bulletproof. Production is scheduled to start this fall. Deadline reports that Saoirse Ronan and Austin Butler are set to lead the cast of A24's upcoming Deep Cuts. Saoirse Ronan will also produce the film, which will be directed by Iron Claw's Sean Durkin. Deep Cuts is a love story based on the highly anticipated first novel by author Holly Brickley, which was just released February 25th. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
It is going to be windy with falling temperatures today. Gusts from 30 to 40 likely. We'll get to the mid-40s by lunchtime, and then we'll drop quickly into the low 30s by late afternoon. A few sprinkles or flurries possible today as well. Tomorrow will be sunny and less windy, but colder, high of 25. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Current temperature 44.
That's your WXCO Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at bullfallsradio.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.